Blog Talk Radio.
And so, the Duke of Tears retired to the obsidian halls of Heru and sat upon his throne built of microphone bones and contemplated the design of the cosmic universe.
Like a gun, brother, what's up? Bangers, throwing jets up, pulling they sweats up, shorties giving sex up. Whoever's next up, better get a check up.
Boulevard of broken dreams, when niggas scheme, attracted to the glitz and gleam of the triple beam. The angel Gabriel appeared through me through my TV, and asked if we could maybe see who was the ultimate MC. The battle was cataclysmic, causing waters to rise and flood the planet. Gigantic were the waves. I caused the earth to break for 40 nights and 40 days. Amazed, I left the haze that lasted 7 days. By the time I was through, I had already won. He blew his horn and it was born. I was indeed the champion. I called the sun and I was done. Mind heavy like a ton with a razor tongue. That's how the battle gets won in pocket universe.
What hit you like a gun, brother, what's up? Bangers, throwing jets up, pulling they sweats up, shorties giving sex up. Whoever's next up, better get a check up.
I make the pussy percolate when I make an appearance, cause interference, cause a clearance, bringing police appearance. Hip hop is getting old, his children done turn cold. We about to make the final turn up on the grassy knoll. It's time to pay the toll, it's like the cable toll. Like many men before, they chose to do for Joe. Please hear what I say, that there's another way, that we can still win the war, overcome the grave. They resurrect the slave, that's what they want today. They want you picking cotton, fetching water, baling hay. That's all in your mind, brother, we way behind. We the national treasure, is there a map to find? What if I could rewind? My life will make a drastic climb to the stars. Without the stripes, yeah, right, niggas is grilling pipes. This is the plight that goes on in the dawn, through the night, in the dark, in the heart of pocket universe.
What hit you like a gun, brother, what's up? Bangers, throwing jets up, pulling they sweats up, shorties giving sex up. Whoever's next up, better get a check up.
See, in the heart of man, he like to understand, and why he need to go and conquer many foreign lands, and why he need to kill, and why he need fulfill, and why the earth to dominate and overcome the will. If there's a way I will, I want it here but still. Do I keep what I kill, or do I give it back? Can I reanimate and maybe baby charge it back? It's like most rappers lacking then, and then on top of that, they lead the people down the wrong track, still selling crack. They teach you how to chop that, box that, and rock that. Break off the wet, then you go and rock that. If you ask for a job, then they tell you stop that. Gotta walk with cheesecake with a backpack that's maybe full of rocks with razor socks and got a hot back. I'm like the boondocks with dreadlocks and feather jack. I'm the Duke of Tears, I still remember that within the universe.
What hit you like a gun, brother, what's up? Bangers, throwing jets up, pulling they sweats up, shorties giving sex up. Whoever's next up, better get a check up. What hit you like a gun, brother, what's up? Bangers, throwing jets up, pulling they sweats up, shorties giving sex up. Whoever's next up, better get a check up.
Peace, blessings, respect to all human families of the planet Earth. I'm your host, Aseer the Duke of Tears, along with my co-host, Selena the Empress of 10,000 Years, my brother, Saga Sar, the little homie Amor. I want to say thank you to everybody tuning in tonight. Thank you for coming through once again, holding us down, staying in the loop, keeping the positive energy traveling throughout the vice axis that we refer to as this country as well as the world. Definitely peace to you, man. A lot of good stuff. Well, let me not even say that. A lot of stuff happening, you know, some good, some bad, some indifferent. However, a lot of spiritual energy accumulating now as we're moving closer to our last eclipse in the cycle for 2011, actually. That's coming up, I believe, on June 29th. And it's definitely going to be major. these first two and really show you how deep shit is and how, things can escalate out of nothing. This last one is going to definitely go out with a big bang. So definitely those people who are affected, definitely look at where your Chiron, the wounded healer, where Chiron is in your chart right now. Make sure that it's not squaring your sun in any way, and if it is, try to find a degree in the chart in which it's squaring, because that will say what you need to look out for. Because the things with eclipses is that eclipses also represent energy eclipsing other energy. So one vibration of consciousness or one vibrational frequency basically moving in to overtake the other. Case in point, this has been totally represented to us ritualistically in the form of the metamorphosis of and the rise of somebody like Kelly Rowland. Is a perfect example of a physical manifestation of what it is I'm talking about as an example. Everybody who ever knew about Destiny's Child or whatever would look at them and know that these little girls was bred to do the shit they doing. Yet, one was bred to feel like she was the most special one in doing it. And then the other ones had to listen to her. So if anybody has ever been around a bossy female or a bossy male growing up, you can imagine how those ties can sometimes translate and move further up into adult life. And a lot of the same issues that you'll go through, as children, because it was never reconciled or worked over or even copped to as a child, you then start dealing with it as an adult. And the reason why that happens is because the point is you have to focus and you have to rise above and at least challenge that which is trying to impede you and keep you on an inferior sense, on an inferior sense of yourself. So one thing everybody, I think, in the industry as well as the world should realize about the situation is this is very, 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 very subtle transference of power, but very, very significant. Now, I'm not a fan of, mainstream, I like hip-hop, I like real hip-hop. I also like some of the ignorant hip-hop shit that's out there now, you know what I mean, as well as some of the shit-hop and the crap-hop and everything else. But at the same time, I'm not one to negate a situation just because it's a bunch of brain dead or bloodsuckers or whatever else in it. I tend to investigate the situation first and get a clearer assessment regards to who's in it. So if there may be, in any given situation I'm doing the knowledge to, and then somebody in it I may not like, I'm not necessarily going to not do the knowledge to it just because I don't like this person. What I'll do is I'll just be very careful about my energy and how it interfaces, so that way I can keep an objective opinion about the situation, regardless of the fact of how I may feel personally about something or somebody. So in watching these, so in peeping that and seeing how it all manifested, I was doing the knowledge to, like I said, these award show last night, because based on some stuff that I was looking at in terms of what's her name's chart, Kelly, but also Minaj, also looking at aspects of her chart, there was shit in there that seems like she's really, not only is she going through it with these people, but there's a part of her that knows that the whole shit for her and Kim is a symbolic beef that is bigger than the two of them, and then it's going to be a situation where these people are living vicariously through her. It's not like Nicki Minaj didn't know that right before she got signed to them, they was about to sign Little Kim. So a lot of the stuff that they was going to do, marketing-wise or whatever, for Kim, they just got flipped up for Minaj, and that's cool. But the whole beef thing, as it was calculated, as it came out, was basically the reason why there's so many problems, let's say, with the so-called, with female rappers, let's say, getting off the ground, because they make it in this reptilian system that there can only be one at a time. And again, that's that reptilian make you feel like there's not enough. Anyway, there's aspects on her chart based on what's going on in her moon. Emotionally, she feels like, she want to squash the beef. So the reason why I tuned into the shit last night, because I felt like that might have been the night that they do like some kind of fake Jay-Z Nas reunification shit. Didn't happen. But something else happened. And that was, like I said, the eclipse of the Beyonce, Sasha Fierce modality for the motivated dark matter energy manifested by this chick coming out with the Baron Zombie hat on, you know what I mean, and putting herself in the mythos around all of that black male energy. As they built it up, organ-wise, we who have been watching this thing unfold for years with so-called Destiny's Child, everybody know that Kelly is talented, right? But everybody would shit on Kelly or would shit on people who is not Beyonce in that, because Beyonce is the star. But the thing is, Beyonce and Kelly got the same daddy. So same shit that Beyonce got in her, Kelly can't reverb it. It may be them. I'm saying it's reverb. I don't know. I'm reverbing off the phone, so I don't know. I'm thinking maybe it was because I was close to the window. Either way, though, they both got the same daddy, so they both got the same genetics to be able to do stuff. So the fact, again, that all of these years, people been, quietly shitting on Kelly or whatever, Beyonce, is very interesting. Right. I mean, remember, we have to remember the succession of shit. Like, Aaliyah at one time was the biggest. Then she went down. Then J-Lo was the biggest. Then J-Lo went down. Then what's her name was the biggest. I'm talking about in terms of black entertainers, not like mainstream media or whatever. So Beyonce been reigning for so long that, it's a bygone conclusion that she's always going to be on top. But again, Beyonce is married to the devil. So when you do the knowledge to what she symbolizes the type of original woman that is moving away, let's say, from herself based on a false sense of superiority, which was given to her as a child, which is manifested in the negative attribute of the Sekhmet energy that she likes to put forth, being the fact that, one, she's a Virgo, and two, and two, she's sort of an egomaniac on top of that. Now, Kelly, who was the dark-skinned girl who was always in the back, you see what I'm saying, is the one who's been dejected or, let's say, been put in little cute situations, but always kind of gets played to a degree, or always put to the back burner, always put in the back, or always in a situation to glorify, help big Beyonce up. So, in this ritual last night, as she was brought out by the black man, who is Trey Songz. Now, I'm not getting into the politics, who he is as one of their people. Who he is as one of their people or one of their representatives or whatever. I'm just talking about him as an archetypical black man ushering in this woman coming in or coming out of the Immensa, because there's a scene when she starts walking in. In fact, the video, she's walking out of the light, but you don't see her, the details in her. You see the archetypical black woman just walking out at you, so that's Newt. Then she's there with all of these black men building up all the organ energy, talking about motivating them, talking about, I believe in you, talking about shit like, the music is still playing in the background. You can't stop it. There's a message in that shit that is resonating higher than mainstream media can be responsible for. There was a point in it where it got so ill with the organ shit that she wound up popping her behind, and then he wound up like slapping it or grabbing it or something, and they had to cut to the 7-second delay. It was like it was almost too much. Then right after she gets off, everybody's still high. Everybody's still elated about the fact that we all wanted her to do well. Again, I'm not getting into the politics. I'm talking about the specific symbolic archetypical representation of what was going on in terms of the transition or the transference of the energy and power. Even when she came out, if you look at the background behind her, she came out of what's called a rotunda. And a rotunda is a physical architectural version of open legs. So as she is walking out of the rotunda, that's a message. Rotunda then would represent the feminine, which would then also represent the giving. The giving aspect, right? So as she goes through that, builds it up, everything is good. She comes out of the rotunda. She's in all black. Then she's flipping the Janet Jackson ritual, because Janet Jackson did the same type of thing. If you look at a movie that she did called, a video she did called I Get So Lonely. At the end of the video, if you look at how she was dressed and you look at how Kelly was dressed, it's the same archetypical Baron Samedi hat to the side. I'm in the Amenta, like you don't really see me. And the fact also that she was in all black, which represents being in the ritual, but then two, the fact that she was clothed and covered from head to toe made the shit even more organ friendly, even more mysterious to a certain degree, which then built up the anticipation and the organ energy of the audience as well as the people, because symbolically everybody liked the song and everybody liked Kelly, but everybody know that Kelly get hated on because she's the dark-skinned one, but nobody want to come out and physically say that because nobody want to acknowledge the obvious.
And she's the only one that has not agreed to lightening her skin. Thank goodness. So far. We'll see. We'll see. But I love me some Kelly Rowe. Motivation.
So as she is motivating, right, everybody up, she's raised up the vibration of the whole cipher, right? So right after she gets off, everybody's hyped. Everybody is elated that everybody has finally seen her make good, where everybody is like acknowledging, oh shit, she don't even, to the point where niggas like Beyonce, who? You know what I'm saying? So right after she finishes, what happens? BT brings out the next segment, which is Kevin Hart standing in front of a line of black women in military uniforms, meaning the army. They had to bring the army in to shut down, physically, visually shut down the organic energy, but they're trying to fool you by making you think that it's just happenstance, that it's a whole line of black women in army uniforms, and the only man other than Kevin Hart, black man, only man that's on the stage with them is a white man who's a Marine.
And mind you, programming is specific. They specifically put on one speaker and then bring on the other. Y'all know this. I'm not talking. Y'all know this. My listeners are intellectuals. They do get that. So to put them on right after her, I was like, wow, they've just now accumulated the organ energy. So now let's see what happens. And it was just very interesting, the programming. And, I love shows. So I really was entertained by part of it because it was the first time that I actually got to see, a black woman perform and what it did. It was beautiful. Without being naked. Totally in black, head to toe.
And, like I said, being that there's this need for us to support the underdog, because that's what she is physically represented. So it was almost like you had Bass on one side, who is Kelly, and then you had, let's say, the corrupted version of Sekhmet in the form of Beyonce. Because after the whole army thing, right, there was another segment where things were still kind of high vibrationally. So by the time they got to the segment with Beyonce, when you look at her, first of all, she wasn't even there. Second of all, she was performing, international or global shit on her anthracite, and then when she was performing, she was standing in front of a gold pyramid, a yellow pyramid with lights that shot out the back of it as if it was like webbing, right? Which then represents the masculine aspect, right? The sun aspect. So here it is, the juxtaposition between the two. Then she got a bunch of people in the audience or in the crowd or whatever, knew she was them waving red flags. So you got the pyramid, you got the pyramid, you got Bay ones rhyming in front of everybody. Then you got people in the crowd waving red flags. That's basically, again, heralding the coming or the awakening symbolically of, let's say, the conscious, spiritual, metaphysical, black, let's say, Moorish empire, yet under the control, mind control, of one of the harlots of Babylon. Now, again, this is not to say that, I'm not saying this chick Kelly has involved herself in rituals or played herself. I'm not saying that. I'm talking about last night specifically in the ritual. We witnessed the physical eclipse, you know what I'm saying, of one energy into the other. And the fact that Kelly went on before her, you see what I'm saying? It's the knowledge. So the wisdom in it, Beyonce had to go all out. But her going all out the way she did was great, but it didn't feel the same way that it felt when Kelly did it, because Kelly was doing it for the black people, for the black man, telling the powers that be, again, that you can't stop this. You know what I'm saying? We still got our music playing in the background. We still here. The music that's playing in the background is us, is the consciousness rising, or the ancestor, the creation song of the Creator manifesting in the amplification of this anticipation that we are all feeling as we're moving further into what we perceive to be the future. You know what I mean? So I'm doing a nod to that. Then they had a section where Patti LaBelle was being honored, right? So first CeeLo come out, on his, or his stuff, he's crazy or whatever. But after him, Marsha Ambrosius comes on, and she's dressed as like Olokun. She got on the sea green dress, fishtail dress, where she's looking like a mermaid with a gold waistband with the gold slippers. And we all know the story of Olokun. She's the one who guards the deep and all the histories and the mysteries of the deep water. Singing to Patti LaBelle, who's in black, again representing Bass or the dark or Newt, right? Then after her, Pastor Shirley Caesar come out, as Yemaya. Yemaya. Above my TV, we have a statuette of Yemaya. So I'm looking at the TV, and Shirley Caesar come out, and she got the same dress on. So he just started crying. I'm like, yo, that's Yemaya. Then she starts singing about how she needs to be how good it is to be a friend.
She basically just slipped in the importance of friendship, and what was amazing was that you can see that there was a true camaraderie and a true love and a true authenticity and loyalty between black women, and her exposing that and being able to express it the way she did was so poignant, because for me it was watching a black woman give love to another black woman based on her being her friend for 45, 55 years. And, how you could find a friend. The first thing she said is, there's a friend in Jesus. And it totally shut down the entire show. All that same shit that was existing around could exist no more. And what was beautiful is you could see the cameraman he didn't focus on anybody in the audience. You know how they do quick shots to people's expressions in the audience. No one was shown except for her and Patti LaBelle. And it was like the energy she gave her shut it down so much that it focused this friendship, what it is to be a friend. you know, at a time when women are hating each other, when a time when women are all enemies, when women have difficulties, unless they're sharing the same pain, it's very difficult for women to befriend each other if they aren't healthy and aren't focused on just being able to be a support in that person's life. You know, it can be just so liberating when you don't have to play by any rules. You know, a couple of days to pass, 2 months, and you're like, yo, let me call this person because that's my girl. And it's right back to square one. And it was beautiful. It was so dope, yo. And that, to me, was what the show was really about, the reincarnation and the resurrection of the black family, of the black woman, of the black child. The fact that they gave the awards to Willow and Jaden and were able to divide and split them in two means that rules can be changed, and the black man and the black woman can change them and can make us have to see a different end result. And that, if you looked at that trinity, it was really beautiful because you don't see that. And then Will and Jada in the audience, regardless of their treachery and their whateverness, symbolically to be able to see a black man and a black woman that have been married watch their two black children, a son and a daughter, the representation of them, Asar and Aset, the resurrection of them being able to be gifted an award. It was so dope. And you could see Will, he actually, his Akashic shit got tapped because I saw him tear up, and I peeped that he realized in that moment what allowed him to be sitting there. And it was God, and it was the fact that he was the Fresh Prince of back in the day, not of Bel-Air, but the Fresh Prince. And it was dope, yo. And those moments really whitewashed a lot of the whitewash. And that is what we need to focus on, our glass being half full and not being half empty. And sometimes you got to be away from the masses in order to really, truly find your blessings and be thankful every morning, not for what it is you don't have, but give thanks for the things that you do have, and then knowing that you're going to be able to get more based on you being appreciative of the now. That is the fucking golden ticket this right now. If we're going to say anytime, it's right now. So God bless y'all.
Yeah, man. Queen was definitely right, because in her coming out as Marsha Ambrosius being Olokun, representing the deep, dark black, giving veneration to Patti LaBelle, who was dressed in all black, representing Nut, which is the sky goddess, which is the dark matter incarnation of the black woman in her cosmic God self, right? Then you create now the Trinity then with Pastor Shirley Caesar coming out as Yemaya. I mean, to the point she had on a cape. You know what I mean? And coming out to Yemaya, talking about how good it is to be a friend. When she went on and she said, you know, what a good friend I have with Jesus, the camera did not move from that point on. And any other time, if you watch the thing, the camera is always focusing on the people's expressive audience. They're not doing that then because they can't show Puffy and these niggas. Them niggas was probably straight in they altars, but they throwing their little gang signs up to keep themselves binded in to not feel the effects that these black women is bringing in the form of this Trinity, right? Again, coming right after the whole eclipse of the once bays for the real bays in the form of Kelly now moving up. So then to fixate it all, to juxtapose all of that, like I say, you had the Beyonce performance in which she is in front of the gold pyramid with the red flags trying to bring what we are to those people in Europe. You know, you can't even be there. I mean, Justin Bieber was there. You know what I'm saying? We are living at a time when the two biggest artists in the world, Justin Bieber and Lady Gaga, are both owned contractually by two black men. You understand? That's why they're going to start to hate on this dude Bieber after a while. They're going to start to do shit to trigger him out just to fuck up Usher and them money. But until then, this is what it is. You know what I mean? And, you know, they ain't going to mess with Gaga because they can't tell her nothing because she's ensconced herself with the gays. So anything you say to Gaga, the gays, it's a rap. And then, boom, that's Akon. So if Gaga's sick to pick Mafia, you know what I mean, on these people that say, you know, they trying to bang on Akon, it's a rap. So they don't want to do that because they still need her in terms of her position to be able to influence them, you know, based on whatever political agenda, whatever they want her followers to buy or sell or whatever else. So all of these characters that we're watching on TV are all archetypes of systems of control that can be used in operable manners to program people based on symbology. So if you're looking at it and you're only looking at, again, the negative aspect of it, you see what I'm saying? You're missing the jewel that's buried in all of that, because the negative aspect is always going to be the dominant one, for the fact that the environment itself, the music industry itself, yet, just like the hood itself is all consuming and kills people every day, there's parts of it that's really good, you know? And you can't always throw the baby out with the bathwater when it comes to righteousness. You got to look in the barrel, and find the best, you know, and discard the rest. So even in the beginning with the Ross performance, you know, with him and Lil Wayne and them, that vibrationally was higher. Why? Because the dude Ace Hood, he still got an element in his soul, and you can see it. You can see the deterioration of these guys once they start all being around the same old club or whatever, because they all start going in the same holes and stuff like that, and the same entity winds up being able to waft off of, let's say, somebody that's been in the game for 5 years and somebody who just blew up in the game in a year. So this is what they do. But the fact that Ace came out and did his thing, he raised all of them up to the point where he came out with his shirt off. Rick Ross had to open up his shirt. You know what I'm saying? And Lil Wayne came out and they did it. But the theme of what they singing about, you know what I'm saying? Mama need a house, baby needs some shoes. You know what I mean? The family. This is what I'm doing for my family. So regardless to what they doing in King of Diamonds and all of that, all of the ritual shit, whatever, that's whatever it is. I'm just talking about last night. There were elements that were subtle glimmers to show that our effect in our consciousness has affected things to the point where they shifting ever so slightly, even within that cesspool that we, you know, call entertainment, which is good, which is a good thing. Because, again, the same way you sit here and watch YouTube videos and order DVDs and shit, the same way they doing it too.
And it's ill because Amore's, if I were to say Amore, any song that he has gravitated when it's on and listens to is this Ace Hood song. And, you know, he watched it today. He watched it because I take that shit for him. I'd even go for it. He watched that shit today, son, and he took off his shirt when Ace Hood came on. He unbuttoned his shirt and took it off and threw up his hand and started dancing and jumping around. And he was hustle, hard, hustle. He said, Mama need a house. And then he's like, shoot. And I'm watching my son. This is the song that affects him, okay? And I'm peeping it, and then I look at Ace Hood, and structurally, it's like he looks kind of like my son, like just the stockiness and the shortness. And I peeped it, and I was like, yo, he sees himself as this dude right here. And even though he doesn't know him, he's emulating a dark-skinned, melanated black man. Because the one place dark-skinned, melanated black man can succeed is rap, just automatically. If you're dark-skinned and you have muscles, nigga, you pretty much finna go platinum. Everybody in the industry that's dark-skinned is pretty much popping it if you're a man. Gucci Man, everybody that's melanated. It's different for the women. You have to be light-skinned to be a woman and be successful in it. Shout-outs to Nicki Minaj doing the skin lightening. I heard about that. And it's just sad because she's a beautiful girl. She didn't need to do it with that, but hey, this is what makes her ugly. So at the end of the day, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. And one thing I have to say is I give Ace Hood much props for not having any visible tattoos, for looking clean, and for giving Lil Wayne motivation. Ding. Well, seriously, go. That's my shit, what? Anyway, giving him motivation. This dude couldn't even come out with his shirt off. Lil Wayne is always shirtless. When Ace Hood had his shirt off, Lil Wayne had to keep his shirt on. Because he's a Libra, and he don't look as good as Ace Hood. And, it was very interesting. But I still love their positions together. I think that they work great together. And it's just nice to see black men enjoy rapping, enjoy rhyming. Like, they look like they actually had a good time. And it was nice. Thank you and good night. Message 32.
And in peeping that, like I said, don't want to be so conscious or so aware or so rigid that I can't acknowledge things that are good even when they come from places that aren't so good. You know what I'm saying? Because that's a form of false superiority too. That's creating and, again, always imposing a negative on something just because you don't agree with it. And that's not the purpose of knowledge and understanding how things are all commingled together. You know what I mean? And in watching these, this was the blackest to me. And again, this is our opinion. This was the blackest, or I would say, let's say, most positive show that I've ever seen. You know what I mean? From that, I've seen some years where it just was just straight. It's like the Source Awards. You know what I mean? But in any event, in watching how it all went down, even in watching, there was a section where Chris Brown was on stage and he was singing the song in which he is now, where he used the Michael Jackson thing, being that he is the heir apparent to Michael Jackson, which is why they took him out early and attached the woman beater stigma to him off the rip, so that way, when people would always have that aspect to him. They had to do that to Michael later. So with him, so in that, the time in which he was supposed to just take let's say the throne, was impeded because he was dealing with the court and all of that, and that allowed them to permeate a greater wedge. That's when, if you notice, after they killed Michael Jackson, that's when all of this Beatle shit came out. The Beatle anthology, the Beatle this, the Beatle that, because Sony, who was complicit and was being investigated still as accessories to his murder, Google it, they created a window where they could try to mess that up. But last night's show showed him by evoking that song. Inside of the background around him was all plasma. It was a plasma background. We had like orbs and melanin-looking colors and dark matter and dark energy and shit. And it shifted from royal blue to red, which is, again, showing red and then amber, showing the whole dimension between how the state of plasma, which is fourth matter, condenses down into physical and then non-physical. And then him dancing and doing within that really, again, solidified him down, let him take that place. So, symbolically, the same way they'll use a president to conjoin people's understanding and encompass whatever agenda they want through the president is the same way, let's say, the record industry does with its artists. Yet, the record industry is not in control of the spirit realm, and the spirit realm has its own view and workings within this that we can pick up and see the true value and see how drastically things are changing on a subtle level, because other people are going to miss it. They're just going to get caught up in the show. So as much as we decode, how it works, I don't think we should negate when things actually have positive connotation. As well. Because that's my eye. And to be balanced in this thing is really the point. So between that, they even had me along there, pregnant and all white. So again, celebrating the family, what is to come. And again, Bieber was there, but what I liked is they didn't have him perform. You know what I mean? I like the fact that a black man is really holding him down and getting his cheese off this thing. It's just the same way it was with New Kids on the Block back in the days. But the difference is, I don't think Usher is. I mean, he's down with them with their little stuff, but I don't think that he wants to genuinely exploit this kid. You know what I'm saying? And one thing about us as original people, when we start handling white people money, we get extra thorough with this shit. You know what I'm saying? So it's definitely, times are definitely changing, as slow and as subtle as they want to be. But in cases like that where the organ is so present, it's imperative that we capitalize on positive aspects, even to the point where Patti LaBelle, when she went on it, she started doing it as Newt now because she's in all black. They had, to the left of her, they had a Egyptian, Comedian, the Comedian symbol of the house, which is representative of Isis, illuminated on the side of her in violet. You understand? So again, I don't want anybody to think that Patti LaBelle and these people really understand it like we do in this sense. Yet, the light people, the set designers, all of these people, there are people sprinkled within that have the agenda and what is to be put through, because that's part of the magic. That's why the second largest studio is called Industrial Lights and Magic, because they be working spells on this shit. When these people sign these contracts, these are baby witch contracts, in which you as a male either choose to become a warlock, or if you as a female, you become a witch. But it don't really kick in until you don't really see the effects or how it really kicks in until the success or flop or whatever of the record. Because the more successful the record, the more indebted they'll make you based on all the per diem and stuff that they put into the contract. But aside to that, you can get the book that Mark Curry wrote, Dancing with the Devil. He'll tell in that book, he talks about how Puffy spoke to Saperstein and some of the dudes over there who work with Interscope and Irene and them, and would put the demonic clause in the contract based upon the amount of records and stuff that you sell. Yet, because of all of this treachery, the record company has gone through crazy changes. It's also really started when brothers was owning their own masters. You know, the more masters that was owned by the major mogul republics, corporations, conglomerates, meant that they could have more demons out there in their favor. Once brothers start mixing and mastering or just putting out their albums without mastering it out there, it tipped the scale in the opposite direction. And now it's too much unsolicited material that they weren't able to take into the temple room and work over. So it's different entities or free entities in the music that gets put out, which is why a record like Soulja Boy's first record could just blow up. Because he not only had the sonics, he had the visual and the physical aspect of it, which then intone the whole you in everybody's DNA. And even if you didn't like it, after a while, you see them perform it, you're just like, okay, it's cool. So they dumb down the music so much that now the best of the worst is the best sounding. Yet the real music is the stuff that you find for yourself or make yourself. So them working to control everything created a situation where everybody started creating anything they wanted, which then forced them to have to catch up. So today, for all aspiring artists, if you were to go to a label and solicit them for a record deal, and they say, let's say they give you $100,000, which is nothing, but let's say they give you that. Contractually, by law, you, to them, now owe them a certain degree of material. But the caliber of material is not really important. The point is they just need more bodies for the mechanism to keep it working, to prove that the system is still functioning. So if you sell double that $100,000, after anything after that $100,000, let's say you can start to keep, unless you got lawyers and everything else, which means you wind up with maybe 10 G's, 10, 15 G's at the end. But either way, whatever you double back and read up on, you are in that system with them. Now, if you're an artist on the outside of the system who, let's say, sells 100,000 units on your own without their help, and they come to you, they will give you a deal or work to get you a deal in which they have to pay you the money. So if you sell 100,000 records yourself, then when they come to you, in order for them to do anything for you, they got to do better than what you already did for yourself. And they know eventually, at the rate that you're going, you'll surpass them in sales, which then proves that their system is fallible, which then means that people won't go get record deals no more, which means people won't buy CDs, which means people won't go to CD pressing plants, which means people won't, support record labels, which means record labels go into the red, which means they have to now do something else. Or shut their doors, because in the corporate world, if there's nothing happening physically or financially, then you have to shut down. If nothing is coming from what it is you're doing, you have to admit that the exercise is useless or futile, and then move on to something else. Or, before you move on to something else, you got to pay off everybody else who invested in you, and they never want to pay nobody no money unless you work for them directly or indirectly. So the very fabric of the system itself is done. The rebirth of, or the potential rebirth of music that these kids is doing is great. We may not understand it, but there's aspects of it that is us. Yet they're evolving. Their hands ain't so skinny anymore. You know what I mean? There's a lot of work, was going down, but at the same time, every once in a while you see a rainbow, a real one, not some harp shit. You know what I mean? It used to be that's how much their infection has infused itself in our consciousness. It used to be we just look up at rainbows and, think about beautiful things. Now we got to wonder if it's a precursor to a harp event. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So if anybody got any calls, we could take them. Okay, we got 434.
Peace, this is Queen.
Peace. Hey, what's up, Queen? How you doing?
I'm good. I did not hear the last 10 minutes, like people were calling, but I had some questions that I wanted to ask about how you see this. And first I want to say peace to you, Selena, Amor, Saga Side, and the audience.
Peace.
Peace. I wanted to ask how you see, like, I don't know if it's just when I'm tired or in deep thought and tired. Like, I was in my kitchen the other night, and it was like, just for like a split second, I thought somebody was standing like on the other side of the room.
Yeah.
Out of my peripheral.
Yeah.
And I know who I thought it was, which is what I'm trying to manifest.
Was it?
It was.
On the left side?
I got a prison call right now. This is my king.
Wow. Tell myself.
Yeah. It was on my left side.
Mhm. Yeah, that's cool. Oh, okay. That's
Was what?
That's.
What'd you say?
That's something that's called a bleed experience. That's when whatever's going on in this reality around here or around where you at, things are merging into other things. So the unseen realm aspects of that is becoming more prevalent. Sometimes you'll see something out of the corner of your eye, and sometimes you'll be watching TV, and you'll see like a little like black. You don't really see it, but it's like a little black thing that kind of like.
This might sound weird, but you said it's black, but this might sound weird, but to other people it has sounded weird. I used to, anytime I thought I saw somebody walking by, it was like I could only see the bottom part of their leg, but it looked like they had a brown pant leg on or something. Or dark, something dark, but it was like the bottom leg. This time it was like the whole person, but I couldn't see the face.
Yeah.
But I wasn't startled this time.
Well, like I said, we're getting closer to everybody's anticipation, and that is building up. And being that a lot of different doors is opening or have been open for a while, we're just starting to realize it. So the same way we're doing that, other beings are doing that exist in certain levels. So sometimes that's a test, you know what I mean? See if you notice. Sometimes it's an aspect of them being able to manifest through you for a second and then bouncing back out of the reality. It's basically like if you was to draw a circle on one piece of paper and draw a circle on another piece of paper and then merge the circles together. It's kind of what's happening. You know what I mean? Okay. It's like the reality under us that's always been there. We're sinking into it. But as we're sinking into it, we're rising above it at the same time.
Wow.
So that leaves a lot of extra energy that can be used by beings of high mind that are able to use that light frequency to bounce in and out. Sometimes it's involuntary, because like where you are right now, every day that you've been there, you've walked around every part of that house. So your psychic resonance and orgone energy has affixed itself to that house. So like when you watch movies sometimes and they have a scene where somebody, let's say, is getting dressed and they put on like mad different clothes and it goes real fast and they're like all over the crib, but it's just them. You know what I mean? That is an energy that has been affixed to your environment. So you walk past versions of yourself in your house all the time. So every time you look in a mirror in your house, every time you walk out of your house or come back in your house, you're bringing information back and forth. You see what I'm saying? Which creates a transmitting type of energy that could be symbolically represented in the physical world as a train station. You know what I'm saying? It's a bunch of different people going to different places, and the train represents the access point to go there. And it's up to you to know what stop to get off. But the train has a definite beginning and end. You understand?
Okay.
So your consciousness is opening up to the point that you are starting to accept the possibility that these different things are happening. And therefore that is increasing your vibrational energy, light, which whoever is out there seeing that realizes that you're getting to a point where you may be able to maintain contact. You see? But it always starts as something subtle like that. You know
I used to be a little startled, but I wasn't startled.
That's good.
And
that's good.
I thought it was my other half. So when I asked him what happened to him this particular time of the night, he said he had a dream, but he felt disturbed because he didn't know what the dream was. He felt like, I don't know, tired or whatever. Mm-hmm. And it had something to do with us. I don't know. We were talking about is it teleportation? That's the word I'm trying to get. Okay.
There's a movie. It's called. It's a form of astral projection. But you guys can do that. You guys can create a world and go there at different times in the day and talk to each other. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So, that could be an exercise that you guys practice, and therefore that could be your space. So you build the world together, and then whenever you go there, whether you're sleeping or awake or whatever, you know what I mean, or a certain time, let's say a certain time of day, you go into a certain meditation and you go into this place. The more you do it, eventually, you know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
You can just do it wherever you at, even while you're awake.
Okay.
These things are more possible now than they ever have been because we're allowing them the possibility of these things being real to actually occur.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, I chimed in early. I was like, I gotta know. I need an answer. But I'm not gonna take up. I know the listeners, whoever want to speak and get their questions in. But thank you for what you're doing. Thanks to both of you.
Thank you
for being obedient to the Creator and what's instilled in you and willed in you to do.
Thank you, Queen. Thank you. It really means a lot.
Okay. All right. Have a good night and peace to everybody.
Peace to you. Peace.
Okay.
$267.
What's up? What's up, dude?
Peace. What's up, King?
What's going on? It's Bishop out of Philly, man.
How you, man?
I'm chilling, man. Good, man, that I hear your voice, man. Every Monday I participate.
Good, bro.
Yep.
How y'all?
Yeah, well, I just wanted to be real quick. Just wanted to ask you to, could you brainstorm the connection with Steven Spielberg, George Lucas, and Jimmy Iovine, because I was looking at some paperwork on them dudes, and they connected real satanically. So, what's the breakdown on them right there?
It's a great question, G. Being able to talk about entertainment and all this stuff.
Right.
The connection to them is a place called Lookout Mountain. And they all were students who were tapped by various aspects of government when they were about to graduate. And they agreed to work on film projects for the government that would, turn out or eventually be like the first Mars rover landings that they did in the 80s and the moon landing and all that shit. All of that stuff, they were a part of that. So based on them being a part of that, the documents that you can find on that, people can find on that, would be through a Freedom of Information Act under the heading of Lookout Mountain and Hollywood Actors Connection to Lookout Mountain. And you would also do the knowledge to a book called Hollywood Babylon, the original version. There's other books too, and movies, but specifically those guys were like the Brat Pack of that time. And under them, you had the prime actors that they chose to become their second. So Lucas took Harrison Ford, Spielberg took, what's his name? The E.T. kid. Tom
Cruise for a little while.
Tom Cruise, Tom Hanks, right. Scorsese took De Niro, Pacino. You see what I'm saying? And based on, Aryan, let's say, bloodhood, they were, somewhere at the top. So at the very top is Lucas and Spielberg. And then, Ivan, Lucas, Spielberg, Katz, Geffen. You know what I mean? That's the pink mafia in the Hollywood homosexual thing. These are the guys paying for the gay rights to be legal, and these are the lobbyist dudes that are doing all of that because they are in the pocket of Spielberg, who is also a Mossad agent, you see what I'm saying, for the satanic stuff that they do in Hollywood. So everything in Hollywood then is broken up into districts. So all of the porno shit happens in the Valley. All of the mind control, psychedelic drug stuff happens in Malibu. All of the rebel angst, rocker, grunge types come out of Orange County. Then you got, in the hills, that's the affluent, Paris Hilton type that don't really have no talent, but they daddy mommy rich, so we get them money. And then they use all of them as archetypes to engender youth to emulate, which then allows these children who are baby witches and warlocks to entrance them, their followers, into whatever they want them to be. So if Gaga says I'm going to eat bologna, for the next year, that bologna prices will soar. You see what I'm saying? Right. So it's money in the end and mind control. So all of that comes out of Lookout Mountain. Lookout Mountain, again, is the place where they get the Hollywood actors to do the films that they'll eventually use when they try to flip the Project Bluebeam shit on people, making it seem like Tom Cruise is running from an alien invasion and some shit when really it's a leftover scene that cut out of War of the Worlds. You know what I'm saying? Like it's
right.
They're gonna hype it up to be the exact opposite of what's really going on. And these guys specifically are the architects of that. So when Oprah wanted to make Color Purple, she stonewalled, being that she was down with Streisand and the feminist dyke movement. They said that they would get black people to boycott all of Steven Spielberg's films if he didn't make the film for them. So this was the white, black woman, lesbian coalition to use Spielberg and the government as a means to then enforce what they thought was the feminist agenda, not knowing or not really realizing and not wanting to realize that that was all what the man intended them to do. Because he was paying for the whole shit.
Right.
So, yeah, so they're all connected to that. There's a document called the Report on Iron Mountain. You can get into that too, and they'll talk about elements of that. That is Lookout Mountain and Iron Mountain is where they came up with the scheme of the whole alien. Well, the premise that they wrote in it was what to do when peace happens. So they use peace as a way of war. They said that the only way to get peace is to wage war, because if there's no war, then there's no peace. You understand?
Right.
This is how they are articulating their world. So in their world, the only way that they can be peaceful is if they're at war, because if they're not at war, then they can't be at peace, because they can't be peaceful. You see what I'm saying? They just can't be peaceful. We can be peaceful. They can't be peaceful because they can't have peace without war. So that means they're full of war and not peace.
Mm.
So when Tolstoy wrote the book War and Peace, you see what I'm saying? When you read that exhaustive monument of white obsoletism, what you would get from it is that, again, he cannot exist in a state of peacefulness, which is oneness, which is love. You understand? So he has to create imagery and things to allow that enterprise to seep into us, so that way we make it. So the only thing keeping the entire country from falling apart is rap and movies. You know what I'm saying?
That's true. Yep.
That's it. The only reason why people are not burning the streets now is because they got to get that Carter 4.
Yeah, and he say, what he say? He say it perfectly on one of his latest songs. He say, "I get money to kill time, dead clock."
Yeah, dead clock.
See that?
Exactly.
I get money to kill time, dead clock.
And he's a funny one. He say shit like, I was watching an interview with him. And he was like, yeah, whoever told you that the 24 hours in a day is a damn lie. He said, because how I work, I go straight through, and it seemed like the day never stopped. So somebody needs to call. At the time it was George Bush. He says, we've been trying to get somebody to tell George Bush that he needs to come out and tell people that there's no such thing as a 24-hour day.
Right.
This is Lil Wayne.
Yeah, he shouts out stuff right now and then.
And this don't change anything about who and what he is and represents on one hand, but on the other hand, like I said, there's a dualistic nature in this reality that we don't like to admit, but is a part of what it is. So thank you for that, brother.
Yeah, it's going to be hard to shake it off, man. It's going to be hard to shake it off, but we're going to have to try. I got to keep trying.
Yeah, man. Keep striving to do it, man. But thank you for calling, brother.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Peace to you and yours, man. I'll back at you.
Brother. Peace to Warriors in Philly, man.
Yes, sir. Peace.
Peace. (913) on Super Heru Radio. Anybody?
Hello?
Anybody?
Hello?
Peace. How you doing, Queen? Peace. I can hear you.
How are you?
I'm good. How you doing?
I'm good. Peace to the family.
Peace to you.
Thank you. I had two quick questions. Well, my first, I don't know, it's just so weird to me. On one of the movie stations, they're showing like Lord of the Rings like twice a week. I mean, it comes on like every week now, sometimes multiple times during the week. Is that
yeah, I noticed that.
And I'm like, what's happening with that? And it's just that first one, like the Fellowship. It's not any of the other ones.
Yeah,
and I was wondering what's going on with that.
Well, I think that's attributed to what's going on in the Middle East.
Okay.
So, like, Gondor is the United States, and the orcs would represent the Arabs, or what they would perceive as Arabs. The people on the elephants would represent the Republicans as well as us in the ancient sense, and then the ghosts would us in the ancient sense, and then the ghosts would represent us in the present sense, with all the power but no physical body to make it happen. You know what I mean?
Like in the ones in the black cloaks and stuff like that?
Exactly.
Okay.
So, exactly. And so the king, the crazy king,
right,
is the what you call it? He's the president. You know.
Okay.
And then, you know, which is why he's in black. And then the guy behind the scenes is, you know, represents the Federal Reserve, which is the eye, star,
okay,
which is Saturn, which is also reminiscent of the economic situation in terms of the orcs cutting down all the trees.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
You know, that's doing away with naturalism for the sake of industry.
Mm-hmm.
So what these people want to really do ultimately is not what people have been saying they want to do. We grew up thinking that they want to take over the world and rule all of us, right?
Right.
Right. That's not really, that's an incidental, that's what they got to do what they really want to do. What they really want to do is totally destroy everything and throw the world back into a feudal system in which the life expectancy of an average human being is about 30 years old.
Okay, yeah,
and,
right. Oh.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Then they want to reduce everything to rubble and ash, and then out of all of that, whoever's left will become the subjects who will serve them in the new thing. So this is still them projecting themselves being somehow alive after they've destroyed everything. You see how crazy they are?
Wow.
You understand? What we're dealing with.
Right.
So,
wow.
You know, so every movie, every video that's coming out now is all about the end of the world, the Chris Brown, Justin Bieber video, the Britney Spears video, End of Time, Jay Sean, all of these songs, all these videos, all these movies, Battle LA, you know, the end, the invasion, you know, they're coming, Middle East, Libya, you know, Gaddafi, babies, you know, it's a constant barrage of they're coming. But that's just a cover for what's happening in us that we feel internally is coming, like something in us is waking up.
Right.
That has been for some time, for a couple of lifetimes now, but it's within this lifetime that we are here. Like, it's so, like, to be born at the time that we are been born in, let's say, the hip-hop generation. You know, we're the first generation that's been able to take over all of it and still not totally be a part of it all.
Right, exactly.
You know. So, yeah, so that's just pre-programming for some event that they may want to pop off on one of the buzz dates. Like, they got a date September 9th, and they got another date August 18th or some crazy shit. And so, but all of this is also, these dates are always based on whether or not the government's going to shut down.
Okay.
So, you know.
Okay. Wow, that's interesting. One more quick thing about a dream, I'm not sure what it was, but I had, a few months back, I had drawn something in my sketchbook before I went to bed, and it was like a picture. I had used like a green pencil, and, you know, it was a flower in the middle with two pyramids on the side, and like this huge flower in the middle. That's just what came to me at the time. And then,
what kind of flower?
To me, it looks like it resembles a sunflower. To me, it resembles that. But when I look at it, I can't really give a name to it, but I know I gave it about 8 petals. And,
go online and try to find it.
Okay. Because
go
what happened
was
okay. Because what happened was that night, maybe around 2 or 3 in the morning. I don't know whether I was asleep or awake or kind of like in the middle, but a swarm of bees like came through the window right by my bed. And
what did they look like?
They looked like these huge bumblebees. I mean, they were loud, and it was like a swarm of.
Say that again. I think.
I'm sorry. It was a huge swarm of bumblebees, and they were very loud.
Wow. Yeah, that they came for the flower. So so the flower was in the middle of the 2 lions, you said?
In the middle of 2 mountains, kind of like mountain-shaped pyramids.
Yeah, natural pyramids.
Mhm.
Was the flower as big as the mountains?
It's bigger than the mountains.
Was the sun out too?
Actually, in the picture I have what resembled, and I didn't realize what I was drawing until afterwards, but there seemed to be some type of spacecraft floating over everything. After I drew it, it looked like a spacecraft.
Did it look like metallic, like an actual ship, like metallic?
Yeah, it does. Mhm.
Was it big? It was big, right?
Yes, big. It's big, and it's kind of like overlooking the mountains and the flowers.
Okay, this is what you should do. You should go online, find the flower.
Okay.
Then get the flower. And then the night that you get the flower, smell it as you go to sleep.
Okay.
And tell yourself as you're going to sleep that you want to find out what this flower means to you in the form of a lucid dream.
Okay.
If you're in the dream and you start to feel yourself waking up, as you start, because once you're in a dream and you realize it, you'll sometimes yank yourself out because there's a part of you that feels you won't be able to get back. So you gotta like stamp your feet or pinch yourself or spin around, you know.
Okay.
If you start to get hazy, focus on your feet.
Oh, okay. Focus on my feet, you said?
Yeah, and then bring your vision up, you know, or focus on your hand, you know, something on you. And then email me, let me know how it goes.
Okay. All right, thank you. So definitely need to go and find that flower then.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. All right, I appreciate that, Aseer.
Have a good one, Queen. Thank you for calling.
All right. Okay, peace.
Peace. (832) You're on Superhero Radio.
Hello?
Peace.
Hello?
Peace. I hear you, brother.
Peace out, sir.
How you doing, brother?
All right. Pretty good, man. I wanted to ask a question. I had this, I was in a meditation once, and, a couple of days ago, and basically I came out of this blue water, and I could see, like, everything was in gold, and there was like half a pyramid, but I couldn't see the other half of the pyramid. And I know you know, like, the color of the chakra. I guess, you know, is gold or whatever. But, you know, I was just wondering, what does half of the pyramid mean?
Which half did you see?
If you were standing right in front of it, I saw the right half.
Okay, so that's the masculine half. So there's a masculine potency in you that is looking at things from a open perspective, but you will put logic in places where sometimes you need to be more open. Because the right will represent, let's say, the right side of the brain, but the right side of the brain is really the left side of the brain. See? So the fact that you were in the meditation and you saw it, the fact that you're meditating, you understand, is great. You know? So you're seeing an aspect of what it is you're dealing with based upon your level of comfortability with what you feel as opposed to what you know. Yet, you know more than you feel right now. See?
Yeah.
Because if you think left, that also may mean, you know, it's a form of openness, because right is also what you putting out. You know? So it may just be a reflection of that, but the fact that you are in the place of the blue waters is the mean, which is the time stream. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which is accentuated then by the violet crown chakra. So you're already there, but this may be a part of you that may either be scared to give something or scared to receive something.
Yeah, I definitely I admit to that. I have a problem with fear when I get into my meditation, because I've seen things and been places before, you know, but it's just like I just a little bit worried sometimes, you know.
The key in... Go ahead.
Do you have any meditation or breathing techniques or a book I could look up?
Yeah, a good one is the spiral ladder. You know what I mean?
I haven't heard of it, but I will look it up.
Okay. Well, what you would do is you would start, you know, in however you start your meditation, and then you would go from, while you're in it, you'll use colors to bring yourself into the pineal gland. So what you would do is you would take at least 22 deep breaths, and on the 22nd deep breath, you see everything around you in the inner mind's eye is total black. And then from the black, you bring yourself up into a dark brown or a darker brown, and then from the darker brown, you go into a lighter brown, and then from a lighter brown, you go into almost like a green, and from a green, then you go into almost like a royal blue. Once you're in the royal blue place, you're in the pineal gland, because royal blue is the positive color of the pineal gland, the psychic travel. So once you're there, envision a violet pi sign in your left hand, and then envision a spiral staircase that's going up and down in both directions forever. And as you ascend this violet eternal staircase, the farther up you go, you'll be going farther up into the future of the DNA. The farther down you go, you'll be going into the past. The violet pi sign will be your key or totem to use as the key to open up whatever you want to see in it. So wherever you go up to a point, and then you stop. There'll probably be a door or something, and then you use the key to open the door. Whatever you see, you witness that, close the door, go back down to the level that you came from, that you stepped on it in, go back into the royal blue place, and then go from the royal blue place back down into the green, back down into the brown, back down into the dark brown, back down into the black, and then out.
Okay.
You do that, this is how you can find out about a lot of things. I've done it to find out about a lot of things. that really didn't make sense, but then turned out to be totally true. You know? And sometimes you'll find out stuff that has nothing to do with you. Just stuff that's in the DNA matrix that existed as information. So it's all information about you, about where you came from, about where everybody came from, about who everybody is. But the color thing is what's going to get you in. So the symbol for the pineal gland is actually the symbol for the sun symbol, but that's also the target symbol. You should never see that symbol really in red. You should always see that in royal blue. The fact that they put it in red means that they're targeting the pineal gland in a desired modality, which is used for consumption and waste. Understand? That's why Target is so successful.
Okay. Oh, and before I get off the line, I know you got other people waiting on the line. Thank you for that, too. Could you talk about this Elenin comment or whatever is going on? And I just, you can put me back in the call log or whatever. Cool.
Yeah, Elenin is, Elenin, the comment they're talking about, Elenin, is actually a misnomer for melanin or dark plasma. It's a code. He just took the M off of it. And what it is also is a collection of matter that is coming, has phased into this reality, and for some reason it's moving at a calculated speed, which means that it has a consciousness. So it, in my opinion, is a symbolic representation of the real us coming to help save us. But the us that's here only get to interact with that aspect of ourselves through our dreams. Yet, the closer we get, or the closer this thing gets to us, the more the earth changes are happening, and the more they're lying about what's really going on, to the point where they want to create a fake alien invasion to cover it up. When really we're talking about a psycho-bioluminescent, biological adherent activation that's been taking place in us, but that we are now just becoming aware of. So before we get full awareness of it through understanding symbology and visualization and things like that, you know, they want to create some other shit.
Yeah.
So they label it as a comet, but technically it's a G-class comet, which I don't know how they can do that. The G-class stars are fixed within their own orbit, yet this one, again, is moving. So anything G-class has the ability to have life, sustainable, or consciousness. But that consciousness is not always physical. You know?
Sure do. Sir.
So thank you, my brother.
Thanks again. Peace to the family.
Peace to you. Sorry, y'all. Computer's not responding. No. So yeah, man, it's all going down. I just need to close the Sorry, guys. I was just trying to open up the line. But, yeah, that whole Hollywood Matrix is the same thing as all that stuff. And, yeah, like I said, we're not excusing anything that these people are involved in. Like I said, they got some alleged new sex tape involving all of these rappers, you know, doing whatever they do with each other. Peace on Superhero Radio. Peace on Superhero Radio.
Peace.
Peace. Peace.
Hello? Hello?
Hey, I can hear you, brother.
Hey, what's going on, man? What's happening, man? It's Brother Right.
Hey, what's going on, brother? It's good to hear from you.
How you doing, Doc?
I'm good, G. How you doing?
Oh, maintaining, man, maintaining. You know, on that good vacation out here, man. We doing the bid. You know what I'm saying? Just trying to get the knowledge in, too, you know.
That's what's up.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. How's the family?
Pretty good, man. Pretty good.
You know? Definitely. Hey, man, I got something I want to run down to you real quick.
Okay.
I was checking out, I think it was the Discovery Channel, one of these channels, real briefly yesterday. I think they about to have this show talking about wormholes. They got Cat Morgan Freeman hosting it, right?
Of course.
Talking about wormholes and then, you know, the deep space and, you know, all that whole phenomenon. But then, like, later on in the day, I was kind of like doing the knowledge just within my own thoughts. It occurred to me in the sense that our wormholes actually exist in our own thoughts. Or we could time travel in our own thoughts, you know what I'm saying? Because, you know, light travels at a certain speed. However, our thoughts travel at a much higher rate, and our thoughts originate, you know, within that dark matter, that dark energy. You know what I'm saying? So I just want to just get your take on that, just like with the wormhole aspect in terms of like that is actually in this manifestation, it corresponds to our own thoughts. We could, you know, basically have a thought about something from like 85, and then we could just lose consciousness of our reality right now, 2011, and just think about exactly what took place and what we was doing back in like 85 or something. You know what I'm saying?
And that's what they're doing. And that's what they're doing right now. They coming out with a new crack. We talked about that on the show. We talked about them coming up with some new type of war or missile crisis, and it turned into the Libya thing. They're not even talking about the Egypt thing. They're not even talking about the Japan nuclear thing. They're not even talking about the Haitian thing. They're not even talking about the oil spill thing. They're not even talking about the stimulus, no money thing. They're not even talking about the invasion of Pakistan that they just started last week openly. Like, these people are totally done. So what they are talking about is Andrew Weiner emailing his penis to different people on the Facebook.
Yeah.
What they are interested in is how to, you know, pull a nickel out of a penny. Like, they're not able to sustain. So the wormholes that are opening up are also vacancies left open by them, because when they came and used Nietzsche to make them believe that God was dead, what they did was make themselves have to be responsible for everything. So nobody can really be tried for police brutality. Obama would never do that. If he came out with a federal response and a federal prosecution for convicted people from police brutality, you create better cops. But they don't want to do that. He wants to rot the infrastructure of the country because it's not his country in the first place. So, again, these physical wormholes are really collected pockets of apathetic thought forms that have collected to the point that some of them open up to realms in which, you know, people being tortured and stuff like that. And then some of them, the physical ones, a lot of them are opening up into the inner earth. So what they got to do is turn those places into no-fly zone, which is why, again, Libya is so important, because it's a no-fly zone. But if you watch the movie Limitless, there's a scene in it where he takes the pill, and they're trying to work out their financial schedule for the next 20 years. And he takes the pill and says, the first thing he says, well, to make this all work, you got to, what are you going to do about Libya? See what I'm saying? Because Libya is one of the biggest holes that a lot of these things is coming in and out of, or is opening up where people can go into. Because Libya is built on the ancient kingdom of Tripolitania, but then even before that, it was what they refer to as Punt during the time of Ramses and them. So, we're talking about a Moorish people, which explains the connection that Gaddafi and Farrakhan, or Farrakhan and Gaddafi, tried to make between Libya and the black people here. First, he tried it first with the El Rukin Moors, big up to them.
Right.
With Jeff Fort and them back in the days.
Right.
And then the man came and shut that down, and then they created the then he tried again under the Nation of Islam. You know? So you have government teams now that are trying to find some of the physical sources of where these things is opening up. Because they also know that they opened up that wormhole over Germany, which some people are saying is a hologram. But either way, when you look at the actual image, it ended with a black hole. They have these things that we talked about on the Black Nazi DVD called black hole computers, that they're basing the chips on the processes of dark matter and dark energy and how it relates to information. Einstein's theory of relativity being light equals MC squared, we already talked about, is totally irrelevant because it's based on the assumption or presumption that light moves faster than darkness, which is not true.
Yeah.
Therefore, darkness is a perpetual reality. You know what I'm saying? That is compounded every reality because every reality got darkness in it, just like every reality got water in it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, even deserts got water. So water then is a spiritual lubricant that one can use to enter into the non-physical realm the same way wine or weed or whatever other so-called fictitious narcotic people use to get into the hidden realms like that.
Okay.
But there's a correspondence when you do it. So like when there's a book you get called The Cosmic Serpent, and in it he talks about the fact that Western man looks at medicine and plants from the perspective of non-living organisms that live but do not exist. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Whereas what we did was we actually commune with the plants through the ingestion of the ayahuasca or the peyote or the weed or the tobacco or the wine or the water or whatever it is. And then in the process of that, the plants would tell us about themselves, which is by law what the Creator said they would do. You see what I'm saying? Based on the fact of the archetype of us being the dominant one to enter the realm. So when these white boys are jumping into the realms like this, they're not the original archetype. So a lot of their experiences will be what they call trippy or extreme or crazy because they will go crazy because they go into that and come out realizing that their archetype is not the archetype of true incarnation in the realm of what they call in Kabbalah Malkut. Because when you come into Malkut, you have to come in the form of carbon or have the element of carbon-14, which is symbolically the atom represents the process of Osiris, which is why Osiris is cut up into 14 pieces. You see what I'm saying? The process of death, regeneration, and life through water, and love, and sex. You know what I mean?
Right. Gotcha.
So a lot of the portals, again, that we're opening up or you're opening up are just occurring whenever you finish a dialogue with somebody. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So in terms of darkness being a perpetual thing, they're basing computers on the fact that they want it to be that before, as soon as you get the thought of what you want to look up on the internet, it shows up before you even type it. That's the type of technology or where they want to get it. And they're basing it on melanin, or cosmic molecular melanin. Therefore, they're basing it on us, who are the physical, conscious archetypes of it, who are the conscious within an unconscious mass that functions primarily through feeling and symbolism. You know?
Right. Well, got you. Yeah, that's pretty profound. Is that somewhat connected to and they found this, they say they claim it was a mirage, right, up in China. I was getting the knowledge yesterday. There's some cities that popped up, like I guess after it rained or whatever. I don't know if you heard about that. Yeah. They saw some cities, like the people said they ain't never seen it before, but it says ancient tales that said this happens from time to time, and these are supposedly like where the ancestors, like dwell, like in China.
Yeah. But again, that's our ancestors. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So if that's the case, how come we ain't seeing them? See what I'm saying?
Right.
But see, how it also works, though, is that when you are your own ancestors, it's hard for you to see yourself as them. People don't realize the stuff that you're interested in, the people that you like and you read about, you have a psychic connection to in some form, in some way. Whether it be in the fact that you like this person in the last life, you were the person, you could have been around the person, you aspired to be the person. There's something that's connecting you to that. But every life is supposed to be different, yet it always has remnants of the last. So, archetype is a thing that's used to be able to perpetuate oneself into the future. You know? So if you think about it, if God decided that there would be no archetype for itself physically, you know what I mean?
Right.
But we would still be here, what would we be? We would be it. You know what I'm saying?
That's what it talks about in the Quran, the Khalifa, right?
Exactly. And who's one of the biggest rappers right now? Wiz Khalifa. You see what I'm saying? What is the biggest state? One of the biggest states going through its own financial and critical changes right now? California. Who is ruled by who? Khalifa.
Right,
Queen
Khalifa. Right here. Yeah.
From the Panama Moors all the way out there. I ain't talking about her, but I got images of her. So again, this is her coming in the whirlwind, manifesting in the form of and again, these guys. This is symbolically how I'm processing it to better understand, to understand the physical world, so that way it does not infuse itself into my conscious or psychic or spiritual understanding about what I'm seeing.
Right.
So even though they're creating the images, I'm not going to let them dictate to me how I'm supposed to understand them.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
You ain't going to tell me how to understand what you're showing me. I'm seeing what you're showing me. You're showing me this woman with her ass out. You're showing me this man, kissing this man. That's what you're showing me. But you want me to look at it as a political and a beautiful thing. And because I don't want to look at it like that, I'm wrong. You see? That's mind control.
Mm-hmm.
But that's also every proverbial man-made group on the planet right now. Anytime you have to depend on someone else to do something, you leave yourself open. That's just part of physical life. Yet,
you're under their jurisdiction. Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to say. And for that period of time, and they're under yours. So whatever gets done or doesn't get done will create the parameters of how far a relationship can go. That is not always how relationships function. That is how relationships function under an industrialized society. So, you live longer. You don't die at 30. In a feudal society, you'll die at 30. In an industrialized Western society, you may live to be 100. You may live to be 80. You may live to be 20. You may not even be born. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's the gamble. But they've created the illusion that you have the choice to do it. And that is the stink that all of us has been stunk up with. We can't get that part of us off. And that's what's keeping a lot of the shit off of us and away from us too. Because we can't accept spiritual things. Who said that black people don't swim? Who said that black people don't like water? Who said that? If nobody ever said that, would that be true? Mm-hmm. And I can see it being true because I see, when I go to the beach, I see black women avoiding the water, literally avoiding the water, avoiding the sun. I see that. I see black men doing it too. But I see people who are not black, almost albino, jumping in with aluminum foil and all that to capture as much as they can. So definitely somebody believes that. So we're not talking about a reality. We're talking about a perception. Oh, I don't want to get darker. How can you not get darker if you live on Earth, under a sun, on the surface of a planet? How can you not?
Right. It's like we dealing with our people, man. We talk about these calcified pineal glands right now. We dealing with people with calcified souls, dealing with ourselves.
Self-imposed. It's a form of Western society, a byproduct of their study. They isolated a gene they refer to as the apoptosis gene that deals with programmed cellular death, where the cell this is the cell that actually is programmed to do that. So symbolically, on a Comedian level, this apoptosis cell is symbolically relevant to the goddess Sheshet, who sits there with the pen and a meter that basically charts the time which you come in the world and which you leave. You understand? So a goddess, Sheshet now, the conceptual aspect of the goddess physically represented now in the actual genetic substance of man and woman, that these animals have now attacked and have now programmed to have somebody go into a school, shoot everybody, and then shoot themselves.
All right.
Oh, it's just him. He did it. It's his fault. He's dead. It's case closed. Then it happened again. Then the next year that it happened. Then the year that it happened, Nick Giovanni gave the speech. Any type of technical university, watch out. That's a MK university. All technical universities are what they refer to as MK university.
Right. Okay.
Anybody can research what MK Ultra is. But yeah, man. So look for them. They may be opening up.
Yeah. No doubt. Yeah. We're looking out.
Enjoy your vacation, though, man.
Oh yeah, you know it. Please believe. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna be linking up with you, man, real soon.
Indeed, King. Be safe.
All right, man. Yes, sir. Peace.
Yeah, man. So, there was a lot of heavy ritual stuff going on this weekend. And astrologically, there's a lot of stuff, again, going on that's reminiscent of the symbolic act of the eclipsing of one harlot of Babylon, in a sense, for another. But this one, symbolically, at least that night, had the energy or remnants of Varansambi and a certain spiritual energy built up by the black men and her exalting black love. It was an underlying theme of actual black love and family. You know what I mean? Even if that's their bootleg version of what they want it to be, it is what it is. Peace. You want to see Radio? Anybody?
Peace, King. What's up?
Peace. I can hear you, brother. What's going on?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay. So I just got a question right now. Like when I'm walking around my house and shit like that, you know what I mean? Like when I'm upstairs in my room or whatever, like it's peaceful, whatever. Like I don't feel nothing, like, you know what I mean? But when I go downstairs or whatever, like the energy shift, you know what I mean? And in another part of my house, like energy shift there too, you know what I mean?
Will you feel cold?
Nah, not really. Well, sometimes. But and other times I get goosebumps and shit like that, you know what I mean? And I mean, it ain't like,
house?
you know, huh?
Is it an old house?
Oh, no, it's not the whole house. It's like in different areas of the house. I just go in there and I can just feel the energy shift or whatever. And it's not, not, you know.
Those areas or places that do that in the house, you should go to and clean them out. Get some rose water and do like a thorough cleaning. And once you clean it out thoroughly, get some sage and burn the sage in there, in the corners specifically of the room, in all the rooms where you feel that. And then after you clean everything out with the sage, you go to the door and you say out loud, whoever is here who is not happy here should leave. Leave it and see if you can. If not, close the door.
Actually, I tried that once, and when I did it, maybe like a minute afterwards, I mean, it just leveled out, you know, just balanced out. Everything, it just felt cool again. And I mean, when it come around, it's not like in a threatening way or whatever. You know what I mean? But I just know it's there. I can feel something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, tell it to leave. Tell it, you know, you're not making yourself coherent. So unless you're going to make yourself coherent, leave.
Okay. And with the buzzing in the ears and
but don't give
like
it the option. You know what I'm saying? Don't give it the option to stay.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Tell it to leave.
Okay. And
even if it's good, even if it's a good energy, if it's making you feel any way other than good, then you got to get rid of it because it may not be conscious of what it's doing. So it got to come back, got to go away and come back when it's responsible.
Okay. Or like when I'm asleep, like a couple times when I was asleep, maybe a couple weeks ago, a couple nights, I kind of felt something, like when I was asleep, I felt something like holding me down a little bit. And I was trying to move, and I was trying to say something, but I couldn't. And I woke up, like, and it's like I yelled a little bit, you know what I mean? Like I was trying to speak in my sleep, but then when I woke up is when it came out. You know what I mean? And
you have what's called that's called hypnagogic sleep. Hypnagogic sleep. It's when the soul and the body is going through a twilight stage where you're coming back in, but there may be elements in the area that may be interfering with a straight download. So it's almost like you come in halfway, so you feel in between. That is a normal. If that becomes a frequent occurrence, it's a problem. But every once in a while, it's okay.
Yeah, just every once in a while.
Yeah, every once in a while. I mean, like once, like every 2-3 years type. You know what I'm saying? Not like every other month.
Oh, well, nah, this just happened maybe a couple times, maybe about a month ago. And before that, it's never happened. And after that, it ain't happened since.
Yeah, you're good. So that's just an aspect of you going through another aspect of dream travel called a false awakening. It's when you wake up halfway, but you think you awake, but you really still asleep. And then you wake up. Then you go to sleep to wake up. That's what you're doing here.
Okay.
You know, if you ever feel like you can't wake up in a dream, go to sleep. Then you wake up.
All right.
Or
and what's up with the buzzing in the ears? What's up with that?
Western society calls that tinnitus. They refer to that as the eardrum dying. But if that's the case, then you wouldn't be hearing me right now. So I don't think that's true. I think that's just another aspect of what's happening to all of us, because I hear it sometimes too.
Okay. All right, I got one more question. Like stuff that I'll be thinking about, stuff that I want. Sometimes I can see it manifesting in reality or whatever, and it's crazy shit to me, because you know what I mean, I'm aware of it happening. You know what I'm saying, and I'm looking like, damn, am I going crazy or whatever? Like, like what's going on?
Nah. What you gotta do when it happens, what you gotta do in that moment is when you acknowledge and see it replaying, and you realize that it's a magical moment. Give thanks to the Creator, to yourself, for having the ability to see that and really sink
I try
it
to
in.
do that too.
That'll allow them to happen more frequently.
Okay.
Thank you, my brother.
All right, thanks. Peace to you and the family.
Peace to you, King.
All right.
Peace. So again, thank you everybody for tuning in, going through that exercise with us, as well as building on some of the truer aspects of stuff. Anybody wants to be interested in partaking in the new class we got coming up called Ecclesiastical Law, God, the Living Soul. Blocks off his mic. God, the Living Soul, the Crown and the Kingdom. Email us at houseofl@hotmail.com. It is a symposium on ecclesiastical law, the benefits of and elements of the implementation of such, as well as a true treatise on the difference between the effectiveness of it as opposed to the purported effectiveness of other methods. Also a verification of document class. So, yeah, anybody wants to holler at us about it, email me. I'll email you the class. Also, check out our website, pass the word about it, www.aseer.com. I definitely want to rely on the people to help market, because, you know, we need all the help we can get. And thank you for participating, again, in this dialogue and understanding, you know, the balance in how things are. You know, things are very, very bleak and very, very messed up, and our people, a lot of us are complicit in it, yet not all of us are. And we got to give credit where credit is due and see the symbolic nature. The same way niggas get hyped about this nigga becoming president, same way we should be excited about the fact that this black woman will now eclipse the fictitious black woman, in which now a true archetype of a black woman that's not necessarily the cookie-cutter version is now coming to be on top, which is well-deserved. And we should all support that, all of us, all hues, all colors, black specifically, you know what I mean? So let's you know, celebrate the year of the dark-skinned woman the same way we'll celebrate the year of of all the other stuff. But when I say dark-skinned woman, I'm also talking about the dark matter, newt woman. So that don't mean that you got to be, you know, blue-black, so long as you that on the pineal and the inside in the soul where it really counts. So we love y'all, and we'll speak again soon. Anybody wants to holler at me again about the classes, houseofl@hotmail.com. Also check out www.sagaside.com. Also check out www.aseerthezukateers.com. And please spread the word. Thank you, guys. Peace.